KHENCHEN is in.
현재는 뭐시라고 감사합니다.
You unmute yourself.
켄첼라 unmute 나오나 수도.
Tashidele, Kenchenla.
Oh, tashidele. Oh, tashidele. Tashidele.
Tashidele.
Terima kasih. Kamu aja. Iya. Ini kamu sudah ganti. Bisa. Jadi sudah coba jangan sana. Kita ada.
Đọc trước rồi mà. Đây.
Tashidele, Kenchen Rinpoche.
Tashidele.
Tashidele, Kenbola. Hello, everyone. So today we will start the section number 13. So time flies. We have only 2 weeks more to go. And as usual, we're gonna start with my mandala offering.
Đây chuẩn bị. Đây, ở đâu đi?
Hoàn toàn giải thoát khỏi những ràng buộc của chân và huyễn, siêu vượt danh tự và các tướng của sinh, diệt và trụ, siêu vượt đến và đi, lấy và bỏ. Mạn Đà La tối thượng chính là cảnh giới tâm nguyên sơ. Con xin dâng cúng tất cả và qua đó, nguyện con được gia hộ để đạt cảnh giới Phật.
Completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the name and attribute of arising, sensation and abiding, coming and going, affirmation and denial, the supreme mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain the state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Dewa Dakini Rana Mandala Pratishta Soha.
Sanje chudan chojin chonam lai chanchu bandu dane jabzun ji dage jinsu jibe sunam ji dola pench Sanje dumbar jo sanje chudan chojin chonam lai chanchu bandu dane jabzun Dage jinsu jimbe sonam jen dola benjira sanje dumbarjo.
Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merits of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Mai nam ga dan nyambe sunchen tamjen dewa dan dewe ju dan dembra ju je dunga dan dunga je ju dan trebra ju dunga me ben dewa dan mendra ju je nyeren cha dan nye dan trve dan nyumla ne bra ju je mai nam ga dan nyambe Simjen damjen deva dan deve judan dembra juruj dunga dan je judan drevaran juruj dunga mebe deva dan mendravara juruj nyeren jadan nyedan danyumla nebran juruj.
May all Mother Sentient Being, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from this happiness, which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Chanze wadan jujen shabadan jisu yerang gujen sorwa ye gewa jungze dagi jisab tamje zobe chanchu chenburong.
Whatever slight virtues I have accumulated through prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and requesting, I dedicate it all for the sake of complete enlightenment.
So she ambe chu chu jen me do zhang ri zhe lin ye ni de jin ban de san je xian de me de purwai zhou gen nam da xian de je ber shu gu song yong zo la me zo nam lai chen na sang song de xin ni jian chu da le long zhu na si yong xian lai la me chu ge ngu zhu zan du su wang wan gu ren de wan zha gen Rena mendala bardeza so.
The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, the sun and the moon. As the Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha field. To the Lama who possess the three kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and the secret offerings. With my body, wealth, and all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization, enlightenment. Om Guru Deva Ratna Mandala Pratichaye Swaha.
Simje namje sambada loye chedra jedrava chechon temon tebai chejen kolo gordo so.
Please turn the wheel of the Dharma, of the greater and lesser vehicles, and the teaching come on to both according to the disposition and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Kanshi Angurve Janson Jesuron Shankara Gawale Duran Zebe Gaji Rinpoche Jeba Nambar Dawe Jinjin Jinlabji Chujun Jadu Jimbe Yandrase Meji Shem Malam Jachewa Yunrungwa Linje Trebe Dubje Jima Mebe Lama Tamba Nangla Chan Sarjan Chudu Jabson Jewa Jinjin Laburan Zedu So Dojin Chamande Lona Roda Malmetawa Parin Jidengan Garin Sundin Zebe Lame Shap Zaju Lama Yadam Jison La Survan Deso Daju Shinje Lo Chenzen Ganda Dumba Dosanje Kandur Manga Baden La Murashara Tujiran Shentarve Lam Dumba Yonzen Shinye Namla Guja Zara Ladang Lame Mamje Wangboda Jarjin La Zo Chuje Chola Chawa Chebanam Sanje Son Rabdu Shishin Deve Jujuru Dedan Chiji Tambe Chunyin Barian Drishi Namgada Nyambe Sumje Tamjiji Tandu Tobja Lana Mebrayang Taburu Zogu Sanjiji Kumbang Tamba Jinejan Tobracha Ti Chedu Oda Tambe Chu Samo Teba Samba Gombra Jiwo Nyambe Samba Changchun Chodu Lepar Sabdam de Sembra Shu.
In order to benefit all the mother sentient beings, and in order to benefit, then in order to attain the all-knowing, the Buddhahood. So listen carefully here for the teachings of the GONGCHIG.
Yeah. Tene da gang chebar chawa da tambe ju bungba ji we yung tende ji yimbarwa da tinane tene kasang anzo chom tangbo ne chom jiba inche chasang shu tsawarwa da tana ngabe nane tene da shu jimba tende ji re de indu zane da dorsong sena chom ngabande zobo tene sangage 다지 왕 슈출 왕 슈네 드네지 제름당 조름기 냠술렌 술라소바다 드네기 냉가데 송용고요레 띠인도산에 드네 지당게다 공직이 용 차창마지 등상의 투조를 배 개침보지 차용고요레 라버도 드네 상하게 좀데 대회장 등에 이제 개치슈노지 차기도 염생가서는 가랑조 창마다지 가르세고레 네 상하라 베지 가오유베게다 강사 장장로와 텐도 지체나 상하게 템바테 타야게 텐지스나인다 어다 상하게 템베게 되네 두르자 툴라 파위지레 텐데 인도 칸터 상하라 슈야데 테네 간조 트로나 여바지다 가와여바 어다 텐데지 슈야라 만좀 상가여 텐데지 인도 자네 테네 야지 슈탄 칸데지네 슈구군도 슈 철외지게 냠술 렌자데 칸데지렌도 다 텔라소바데 셴고야데 베케 쳔부인도 자네 텐텐조 고레다지 nenga 체와데 텐탄단디 좀 디나마 송용고르와 텐데 인도 자네데 게 쳔모트네지 차비요사레.
Now up to here we have had a teaching about the vital points, up to the four units of the vital points. Now, right now we are on the part of the vital points, the vows of the sacred mantras, and usually, and the GONGCHIG itself is very important when we talk about the mantra part. So, like, it talks about the generation stage and completion stage and so on. And it's also very important to know about the sacred mantrayana, especially this time also. And I think it's very important because it seems like it's a time ripening for us to practice the sacred mantrayana, and it is a kind of the dependent factor that we are here. Many people are now interested to the sacred mantrayana, and how the point here is how to engage into the sacred mantrayana and how to practice this the sacred mantrayana. So therefore, it's very important to listen carefully and to do according to the what is stated here. Last word.
다 텐데 인도잖아. 가상 돌송 구바 인체대 슈스마르와 다 테렌 돌송 쭈바들의 쭈바 대기 쭈바 탐제 밥지 땐들이 소야지다와 다 테레 디 인도잖아. 디 지단 가르송거를 세인도 가상 공기 대당 된다 nen가 지과한다고래. 왕보라블라 초가 제바고래 송도와 대다 된다 지과래. 난 디게 가르된 거에서는 남중아랑 쪽인데 지기로와 벤나 딴나 주기낭라 드네 가르세오래 자완자면다 빵고레스 최담제랑 신게 대칸데지레스도 동반이 쯔베겐 다 탐제다 잘와지레스 대두자는 당아랑 쪽에 드네 지 쯔반자면다 망보지 제대바이나 저도 참아 남도레스야 계자지는 거로와 대인도자네 드네지 왕지 슈웨 깔라이나야 지금 돌든돌든도 오죠. 다시라 제바고 말에 그래서 정말 쥐바레 세안로지. 드네지 베나 징구른 최백이 자와지글 정규연합 베나 dum천도 지 듭첸트네 좀 소유연아 다지 지라지라 쥐바 제바고 말에 그래서 정말데 고지 쥐바레 세안로 드네기 계자지 용구요로와 다 단단네 가르송구요레 세인도 제당가랑 초 직대기 남주엔 다지 뚜바 자침부치야 지그로와 야 된소 텐다지는 참참 바메베 롱주 텐데라 차르고레 직대기 뚜바 한다면다 이나 제대 이나야 추기 토네 가세지 뚜뚜바 이나야 대점주 쓰는 거 소사 두고요 지단 자외찬에 최바지 푸네 최바 제바 최바 짱마 최바 부가 타보 연다 초지 당와 이나야 초기 제든 중문에 지금 당이 같은데지 풀바이나 되게 쓰는 거 초도로 그러와 나타나는 진코르 고미알라 소베 쥐바튼도 상마데 가세 제바지 총아이나야 야보레스 줌첸 가스나 대탐제데 시법기 땡저름도 당지레스 남수배나 진코르베 자제보지 조아이나 대점지 드네 덴데 냠술 렌네 슝켄기 강사라 땡저기 주진 푸숨 조바 지금 좀 연구요래 된 좀 연구 전에 되네 또바줄을 제야라 펜토 연구요로 텐데 연자 쥐바 탐제대 밥지 덴제제 때 고레스 덴데 빵고 말에 세대 송말에
Here the 10th Vajra verses. The ritual elaboration or natural dependent origination. And it is quite similar to the above, the 9th Vajra verses. It's relating to the 9th Vajra verses. And what it says is, usually in the practice of the Dharma, we should avoid like many activities. We should avoid like things which is like kind of useless activities, and we should focus on the point to the all the provocation has to be avoided, because all these provocations are actually the kind of concepts, and it's not really the required. Even for when you are receiving the empowerment, we try to do empowerment in a very short and like in a very easy way. And also if you're doing the Dukchen or sadhana, or the practice, the retreat, also we do in a very short and also very easy way. But what Lord Jigten Singh stated is that if that is a kind of the samsaric world of practice, then we should have to avoid that. It's not that helpful. But in case if it is a kind of the Dharma practice, then it's better to extend or better to elaborate as much as possible, because whatever we do, like kind of like accumulation of the practice or accumulations of two path, whatever, and also the mandala practice, if we do it extensively with the elaboration, then it would help the practitioner to go into detail, and also it will help their like inner realization to arise well and also establish well. So therefore, it is very important to have the greater extension or the like kind of elaboration, and because it is a natural dependent factor. So like in the same way as we have stated that, which is we are all dependent factor. Therefore, when the mandala and the talk offering, all it was done like in a very elaboration way or in an extensive way, it will help for the person to achieve their realization and their awareness very quickly. Lasula.
Tene dan digi nengachi kariyong gurusana jedan tene wangdang tene drumcho la so wa ta tendegi kapsu tene jingkur jebadang choga jebadang tene ji je ngobo yongso zoba jeba ji tone tene pusum zoba ji tone wang kurwadang tene ji drupchen choba la so ba tene ji nawa ina ten di tene tendel la tene 치유 댄들 대기 난기 셈라더니 진압지 토빙아 요래 송도 대지도 전에 후마드네 자라 자보지 요바래 다 자보 디스케다 칭보지 임바래 근데 자보긴 된라 니마지라 코란게 아마데 용네 근데 자보기 동발라 따네데 모티 승무기 요르데 이인도 전에 되니 자보게다 아마주 드린 가르치는 거요 나라 따기 가르치는 거요 세인도 전에 되니 아마게 레스가 뭐야기 좀 센도의 가령에서는 중앙원에 단다 제부 왕차 첨부 제부 지지 첨부 가령에는 무슨 소바들이 요레스 이내야 니마지라 중앙 지원마다 봐 세야지 렘네 제부 중앙다 신도로 와스 tinga 텔페 섬주군도 텐데션에다 아메 제부를 티슈바레 근데 제부게 다진 지원 메타바세 동해 대단 강에 대레 파래하게 탑람다고 유나스 아마 깨져 들어 디디 전에 아메기 답페싱에 개하무 지전에 유시기레 나랑 쪽에 드니 디 코리우스으로 왔다 자부기 포랑기 예용도 가지라 드는 nen주로 가지요레 스텔레 깨져 되나 드니 페지 지전에 공기 탑람지 땐도 가오레 스텔라버 아메 드니 자부기 남산 렘보탄에 nen주로 바디야 깨탄네 드니 치와 매백이 탑시 텐데 땡아 US 대유는 알지 고도스 대송바베 잡고겠더니 저도 되게야 오유스 년 치와 매백 탑놈 땡고스 한번 흔을 주나더니 분파동 바지 계쇼스 다 분파세 되는 것도 단다 왕나에 분파대 지부 말에 자기 롱발라 출루세게 너 참말 분파세게 대인도 출루세게 너 침부든지 계쇼스 동바지 그런 게 저랑은 치와 매백 탑놈 째고스 근데 송도 nen주로 바게 근데 자보야 너 남산 자리나 되더니 라마 되게 너 동배는 마 라반데 잡네 너 동배는 라반데 지나마 루네 근데 야한테네 지원몇 탑람 데레 라바 동바서 때 말다 때때인도 전에 근데 자보페 콩조사다 딩가는 고고 빼당도 섬네 가연사는 거 근데 탑람 가연 때야면도 다 가서 시행도 섬들 자보 콩조사 내줄 버전 하나 주의다 지난 내주를 받을 때 또반 통부인 게 되지 인사를 이나 전가는 주의자 버려. 근데 내주를 받을 게 로마 만보 요소라더니 콘조게다 코란조 라마들 라서로 봐. Tene keja te zane jerbu zonkana yo ha kodowa. Te ha ko indu zane loma tenzola jerbu gi churanzo ge lama degi ngango gortan yondos. Ta kesi churanzo lama de sola nyenka mewa jigdan zonkana ne chilolo tangu yona. Churanzo ngana chiwa mebe talomji tengu res. Te ten tugu yona. Tene nganzo ge ta churanzo lama de tang chos. Te song bare. Te song indu zane tene nenjuru batenzo ge digi res. Tene jerbola tape dun성gi chingkuru ta jeba choga jeba ta pumbadang zedang yoje ngubu chasang zomba chigi tone jerbola wang kuru warata wang jeba kuru yore wang rinpa jindu kuru ndu zane jerbogi wang jibegi tuyandu to yungu yorata wang jibe tuyande tongni chaja chenbugi tuyanruwa te to yungu zane tene jerbogi 오 라마 당부되게 가 오늘 내로도 땡도데 이능에 하코문도 땡도 가 논도 삼바다 땡도 라메 당부거나 땡사로와 최담제가 아직 동반이래서 땡바로와 노 동바지기는 라바 동바지 땡바다 근데 그 하코요 말에 tati jumsengi chi su pena forma tenzo ki kunzo tuba jebu zo tablamda manda chine kale jarbote ya semge tobata ya kumpar chasundu zane teni chaja chingba nelu tobata nyamdu mumege tendade hako yumundo wa tindu zane tuba sayade goyagi jumsen tere tuba tamje pavji tendere sayade nenga tende chigo tugu yusare.
So like as we have stated that elaboration around natural dependent origination, it's very important to have when we are having empowerment or drupchen or retreat. It is required to have the elaboration of the mandala and extensive, all the substance, all has to be accumulated. Because what it says, state is that the outer tandil or outer dependent factor is there, then the inner dependent factor is accomplished, because these are all dependent upon each other, inner and outer dependent factor, all these. So for example, there's a story once in India before, there's a king and his mother, the king's mother, he saw his mother crying all the time. And one day he asked his mother, why you are crying? And she said that one day you passed away and I'm very worried about the end of your day, you're going to the death and so forth. So then the king thought, and king asked to the mother, what would be the the solution for that? How to come up from the death? How to, Then mother said, maybe, I'm not sure, but you can ask someone nearby our palace. There is one Mahasiddhi, then you can ask him, maybe he might know. So then king sent his minister to find out that person. They found that person who is yogi, and they asked him, show me the way how to come out from free from the death, how to become the deathless. Then this yogi brought one kind of vase or one container. That time in India, all the container are known as vase. So what he did was he brought an empty container and he put his hand like this, and he took out his hand like empty hand like this, and he said, this is the deathless, which means actually he's showing the emptiness. But that time the king didn't know anything about what he's doing and what he's trying to demonstrate. So the king got very angry because he thought he was cheated, and he asked his people to put into the jail, and this yogi was put into jail. And after some time, the disciples of the yogi came and tried to search for their masters. They couldn't find a master, but somehow they came to know that their master was put into jail, and because of the reason why. Also, they knew about why the king put him into the jail. So then they thought, and they talked to the king and the minister, and they said, so your master has been lying to us, and we need to get out from the debt and to become a debtless. So then they thought, so we should have to make it, we have a solution. We'll try to give you the solution. And they made all this kind of the mandala in a very extensive way, all the kind of substance, all the kind of, the empowerment, the first empowerment, second empowerment, third empowerment, and fourth empowerment, and so forth. And what happened was, with this kind of extensive kind of the rituals, when the king reached to the fourth empowerment, he was able to recognize, he was able to enlighten himself, or aware that he has he was enlightened, and he was actually come up from the debt. That means then he also realized that from the very beginning, that the yogi, when he put his hand into the empty vase, empty container, and take out his empty hand, it actually shows the meaning of that, the empowerment, that is the emptiness, the teachings of emptiness. So therefore, from this one, it is stated that it is required the extensive kind of rituals or elaboration of the natural, elaboration in the practice, in the it becomes a very supplementary for one's own practice. That's all.
Yeah, the Tene te Mayimba, when a Huma tene Jesu Marbaloza, the Jala Timusum Penarwa, Jala Timasum Pemne, Tene Timasumba Gabla, the Janama Pulpeon, the Pulpeon Duzane, Tene Korangil Floma, Tachidam Marpegi, Loma Mambure, the Loma Zoe Jirwa, the Jesu Malarepa, Dang, Tene Mo Chugudorje, say. Tene meton chombo seya o tende sene ta kandal roma zo ye yongwa tinane tene roma chi tanda meton chombo seya tere kongin chen meton seya chombo seya kompite kusha jagwa yo sare tene meton chombo sna taware kandre tene kongi densa la pene tene ta tring de ojil meton ge densa la pena yo sarwa sanin de ojil peche cheba chu yana nishunga ta tende gen cheba chimbo ju tudawa 초긴 콜로판 코리아 투수지 데 텐데지 투연도 자네 메던기 제좀 마르발라 카르시바레스나 다 데랭기 총그른데 뭐네지 총그르 차제바지 총그르 제신 제바지 그러나 사치단체 베자네 주페 슬람 타른 버튼데 지네 페 텐데인도 자네 옵제 텐데 베 종유레 딩도 자네 텐데 궁에 텐데 요레데 이내양 tene talenge chongkor de ta inji menji chaje baji naro nang kain sana digne tene maong bagi hloma tenzu ge ya ji chongkor se ya de kandeji korgu yesare metuji chanu res mitas mepetasa ji teyin de zane tene jesu marba chege ta ji jala pene naru penchenge gundunla chongkor kor yondu zane chongkor chaje batende kandeji korgu yona tinaji ji koronang se ya shurwa 이 시류단들이 제좀 앞에 다 총굴배 자지 버튼데 지 권난다와 총 앞에 제바지게 돈 총굴되는 제바래 총굴되는 제인도 전에 다 메든 대 당보네 제좀 말발기 포만 레데 근데 하버도 총굴 될라 때네 총굴기 초가 제바 될라 때네 메든 앞에 대바 슉치를 차네 근데 오늘기 내 단다보도 총굴 망보 꼬르뇽 나랑게야 현다게 총고거로 망보양 통용데 이나 대ren게 총고인데 나신게 자원이네 된 제마송 대시도 전에 문에게 지다 가르쳐 그래 similar pay, Java Shuchimbo, Tip Tupsons, and Yashudawa, Tim Zane, Jidan and Sanga, Choa Sayate, Choa Tajeva, Choa Puga Tabu, Jivaina, then a telatene, Sosa to Yalaya, Pengure, then it's Teva and Yichi Yalaya, Pengusare, Mone Sanga Nudina. Oh, today in the Tangian song with Tian this only.
And now another example is that in the past, the great translator, great master Marpa came to India 3 times. And when he come back to Tibet, he has many disciples, and among them there are 4 more important. That's Milarepa, Ngokten, and Miten Tsombo, and so forth. Miten Tsombo means Tsombo usually means he must be a kind of a pet person. So he was also known as Tsombo. So one day what happened was at the place of the Miten Tsombo, they were going to make a chalk offering. That time, the Miten Tsombo requested Marpa to do the very extensive kind of like a so-called feast offering, because he was asking that you have been to India, and though you must be tired, but somehow he requested the Marpa to do an extensive kind of feast offering, and he said, and also for the future, that how our disciple would able to have this kind of good example to do the feast, and also you have done this one extensive feast offering in the presence of the Naropa. So because of this, when they did this very extensively, and Meten Tsombo said that it really helps. It really touches heart, and it really helps him to dedicate his all kind of the practice, and it really helps for his mind, for the faith to increase, and also to trust, and also it is very good for the practitioner to realize their ultimate reality. And also it helps to change their mind, transform their mind. Right.
Atene Teola Dorsum Juji Bateki, Dorjilon, Samon Colorji, Seatere, Tatisum de Zane, Jedan Nag Kabla, Tene Chutam Chegla, Dorje Sagan, send it in a time Gurua, Karina, coaching Jura Meba, what Tendega Rangshin Bala, Dorjes and a song Guru, Tenduzane, Nanzu Lun de Layan, Dorje Lus and a song Gurua. That Dorje Lus, it is an a Kandijilam and Zinangure. Naranzuji Shadan Tag Rangshin Jindela Dorji Lusigure, a Kandina Song the Sane, then Dilanjik Songungi, Dorji Lu, saying Aranzo Lugi Ranshin, Tombani Jurua, or Telatene Dorji Lus and Sungures. Dorji saying do, Tene Suchig Nevachi Matuba, Jura Meba, what Tantega Ranshin Jinjire, the Induzane, Nansugi Lugi Ranshin, Momo de Karsana, Sanji Chujiku sayat Charing Gures, Tichiduzane, Tentandi, Dorji Lu sayate, Samo Tomba Nigitini Ranshin Chigla, Dorji Lus and Sumbare, sayate Tene, Dorji Lune, Samon Colorges.
Koloshirwala, profound cycle.
Yes, Nandeba.
Koloshirs also. So here, the 11th Vajra verses, Lord Jitensmin maintains that the Vajra body is a profound cycle. maintains. So what it means is that usually when you talk about the like Vajra body, when you talk about the Vajra, it means it's unchangeable. And Vajra body here doesn't mean our body with the blood and flesh and so forth, but rather it means about the empty nature, the empty nature of our body. So that no one can destroy it, no one can change it. And it's like the Dharmakaya, all Buddhas, the Dharmakaya. So it was like, here it was maintained here, means it is like, it was taken as the profound cycle, the profound cycle of the Vajra body. So this profound cycle of the Vajra body is that the Dharmakaya of one's own body. So that means the really nature of the empty nature of our body. That's all.
ene dorsong chusum bade ledan duksum gashim o dorsong chuni badro nelung gashim dorjin bes tan nelung gashi dorjin chang be so indu sana namjung anso khare song ge resana tane ta ngarang so gi lugi zagi netur lung ge netur tile ge netur tena shin tene tan de jerem ge netur tena shin zoram ge netur ta tanso che chasang ji 산제기 되네 송게 나라 유대와 나신지 배차가 나라 유대와 나신지 상당히 여러와 디인도 전에 단단히 가르 송바르스는 텐데 말에 송바래 자단 롱다 테레라 소베기 nen가 문내기 삼회기 nen가 같은 좀 망보지 산제 돌진 창기 무에서 책이 돈에 송요 말에 디인도 전에 난조디 지 배차 지부게 나네 자롱트 송게 내루디 니기 말에 송거래 대체도 전에 만들 사버도 빼나지 다 등산로지나 또모 검야라 배 돈항 첨부 연계 망보여래 왜세 검야라 돈항 첨부 챙게 망보여 주그래 줄류 검야라 돈항 챙게 망보여 주그래 차저 첨부 동영 검야라 돈항 연계 빼 망보여로 대 유도 전에 드네지 텐소 꼴기 배차 텐소 오네 다 디나네 마시에자와 나신지 전에 땅아 차상지 네 제도요 삼바이나 된 노르바레 송바레 디인도 가르스나 제름당 조름라서 베긴 nen가 망보지 라메기 샤네 로메기 나와라 주네 녜네 냠낸 제고야지레 디인자 도르진창기 베주요레 송바레 배워서 가르치는 배제버에 도진 창배 선화침부에 좀 생거는 상하게 nen가도 배버에 위해서는 말해스 지 된도 배고에 좀 생각하스나 상하게 추여서야 돼 드는 아주 롭신 현다던 되게 말하다 등산 개전로이나 오마 다양한 되게 말에 오마양 배찬로 집다 되는 칼라칸도 이제 하고는 그래 대나신 되네지 체말라서보다 용된소 제대로지는 고소수도 배쳤다. 근데 상황단의 테스트 신도와 이내양 오늘기 제름도 조름기 냠낸당 차ချင်း냠네 지답에 차신 차와 십태기 내수도 상만데 지 배체 돈은 것도 니도 말해 라메기 냠뇽 그 돈을 포말라 되고야 지기로와 티인도 전에 근데 내용 가시 도르진 장기 랑신기 배제 바래 제가 대된 바래
So now here the 12th Vajra verses. Some topics are hidden by Vajradhara. So it means like when we talk about the nerves, the vein energy, the channels, and also the bindu or the tikle, the energy, and also the generation practice and the completion practice and so on, which was ascribed or described in our books or in the scriptures. What it means is that it is not fully demonstrated in the text. There are some hidden points. There are many hidden points there about the channels, the vein energy, and these are hidden by the Buddha Vajradhara. For example, there are many people who practice the heat and the clear light practice, and also the like illusory body, GYALTSEN, all these we practice based on the text and without taking the expert or the experienced master. So what it means here is sometimes this is danger. Therefore, it has been hidden. So therefore, we have to take unnecessary instruction from a very experienced or expert lama or the teacher. We have to take from them because it is kind of hidden there. So it's not like studying like a Uma means like the middle path, middle way, the practice, or not like the logic, the tema. And the practicing for the generation stage and the completion stage, the subtleness, the deep subtleness of the practice of the generation stage and completion stage is not something like that, like studying the Umapa and Uma in the middle path and the logic and so forth. It has to be acquire the knowledge from the master who really have the experience and knowledge and who is an expert, who is the master of such kind of practice. That's why it is stated that some topics are hidden by Vajradhara. That's it.
Indu zane tene nelunga shi dorjin changi beja ba yin zang ta ngarang zung unegi tene chi chu yang tawa chi nyamne chindu yunken tene beji ta naru churu seya dang deshindo chakchen seya da tene ki be sabu tong zong nganzu be gagiro wa tene une gagiyo na tene sabu de dun tongkengi tene lama chi deyang tene chi tsiki tone dun tongken zang ma yin bar soso rang la nyamnyong yobe tone dun tongkengi lama yang tawa chi tse goya de KHENCHEN 보레스 근데지 여바이나 근데 dorjin changi beje 받는 상황도 좋던 두그래 숨바래 대마도 근데 근데게 빼나 라마 생년도 된 바스나인다 냠용 연ken지 마텐네 근데 다 상관조지 다 배참 된소라지 다 근데게 돈에 또뭐 곰탄다고 당 대신도 되네지 외세 곰탄다고 된소지 미관도 제대바이나 대기라게 펜톤도 개 연구 말에 스테인도 산에 조드네 라마 양다고 된 거래 제가 대송 연구요래
So therefore, like for example, it's for this reason, if we were interested into the practice of like all these kind of the inner practice, the heat, the clear light, and so forth. So we should not just practice just by looking on the text and just go on, and not just the teacher who can teach you, but he himself is not in a position to understand the meaning of it. And when you really need to practice it, then you have to follow the master who have really mastered about these teachings and practice, and who could be able to demonstrate or who could be able to show all these teachings with their experience, and who has really have a great experience of that, and not just by the text and the word, but rather with the meaning and its experience.
Oh yeah, that mean digola this on the ledan do sungaji minju sao say that tere. Tan diang karisungere saying the zane tening anzo daji sanga nyamsulembe kapsu ludan da sem say zo ni gi thona da nyamne rowa pena zalong gi nyamne to mang chewate lula tembe gi nyamne zo ro chi da tene tadande daji chachen la so bata wonda chen samna tembe nyamne zo ro wa taina ji lu ji bu ya mare sam ji bu ya mare te indu zane tene pena zalongi nyamne nangken chi ina tene ta zalong tela samsam ji jön tene shu ne zala jön shu ba long la jön shu ba tene cha yung du zane tene ya ji lula na san da manda yung ya da tene ge ganghe ji yung gu ro de yin du zane ta tenso la ji ne ju ga che dang ro zai jön pa sel dang long ge jön sel dang la so ba mang bo ji jidan sanghan la songnya ma bo songro de na xin za ge netul long ge netul dran duktur songdo duktur se netul se ge de de za long ge netul kan de yin ba tan so yang sangha jun la song song yo ro le dang se de zan tan so la za long tan so la ji ju che dang ge shu yin de zan ne ge sel dang ge le ga de pon den sur ge le ga tan so la le song yo ro tenen duktur su za long ge netul ro de zan ne ten de ge le dan netul tan so de tene 제단 상하게 나라 송 요래데 하버도 매기 주기 나라 앞에 시크라던데 요래 스티치도 전에 제된 송고 송바이나 지 추루 된소 냠내 난ken기 나한테 강사에는 매기 돌아 냠용 연ken지 대야 된다는데 산지기 송배가 좀매 주요로와 오다 된소 나는 송배 tene 지 라렌 된소라 대선 챙ken지 요바이나 근데 자당 롱게 케이크 세술라 소와탈라 근데 강에메 와서 차도래 스테인도 전에 레던 두순가 셰지 메기 주는 사보요래 스는 송바래
Here the 13th verses, some treatments and explanation of physical condition and more are more profound in the medical tantras. And what it means is when you practice about the secret mantrana, there are many like cases like you have to practice through the channels and the vein energy and channel and vein energy. So when you practice about the vein and channel energy, sometimes there comes a problem of the defect of our channel and the vein energies because of not knowing how to engage into the practice. So therefore, one should have to have the understanding of when we are having these kind of problems, how to maintain it or how to treat the channel and the vein energy and so forth. So therefore, it is very important to have, we should know the status of the channel and the vein energy, how it functions and how it works with the energy and body. And these kind of things, like how the vein energy exists and how it functions and their status is clearly mentioned, and it's even more profound if you look in the medical tantra, so medicinal tantra of the medicine. So therefore, it is stated that if we are really interested in practicing of these people, we have to have at least go to the masters who have this kind of understanding of the science of the medicine tantra. And in this medicine, through the medicine tantra, since it is detailed there, since it is profound there, it will help us, help one to get rid of all this kind of complication. Lasura.
Tendu sanadane tandan jikten sunggung ta mumam tane tandan dijirwa jaag loban chimbu pawo se achiyor tane konge mengi kolla tane yenla jeba se ya tane mengi korchi nze naware tati mengi yenla jeba tegi kong tusan rawo te sanjegi sungbe mengi jula kong lu jebare tane tendawo yenla jeba gi chakbe ten jikten sunggung zigyon zane 디나나 옛날 제바세인도 전에 제단한테는 가난 속에 다지 류 소탕단 대외기 내술지 조래 대인도 질류 컨디션을 쏘고 위험해 라버도 되네 부배나 로충우기 컨디션을 류 쏘고 위험해 되네야 류를 네반담을 슈데위나 텐소 컨디션을 쏘고 위험해 되네야 류게 또 나대기나 텐소 컨디션을 쏘고 위험해 손자게 되는 매소마이나 컨디션을 쏘고 위험에 다 틀레틀레 간들 연라 제바세야 되는 차비지 인제난다와 다 디나라 르게 내출당 르게 소 제담 쥐가 제당 된소 차상한데 십자신의 송용되잖아요. 이제 된 송용이 되는 대차비 됐으네. 딱 문에게 르게 되는 내출당 르 소설대 하게 쥐라서가 달래 맹기 용데 배 신도는 제 사반도 근데 인도잖아요. 근데 문에지 다시 줄을 팽겐 남배이나야 간들 민중대 됐지 고도당 냠용여바지 공도 센터에 송래 송도 어디 인도잖아요. 단단디 자완디 레던도 순 것이 민주사로 세야다 대신에 송발에
So why did Lord Jigiswin stated that there's some treatments and explanation of the physical condition are more profound in the medical tantra? Is that there is a text called 8 branches of the medicine, or 8 points of the medicines, which was composed by one of the great master, Indian great master. His name is Paul. The Paul means the Veera, and in his 8 points of the medicine tantra, which is related to the medicine tantra of the Buddha. So from the tantra which was stated by the Buddha, and there it talks detail about how we can preserve our body and how the body how we can maintain our body, and how to kind of heal our body if it is in a complication, how we can overcome the disease. For example, if your lower part is kind of in a disorder, or your upper part of your body is in a problem, then how to heal that, and also or how our body is functioning according to the complication, the situation, and how we can come out and how to heal that. So these are all stated in this the medicine, the tantra, in a very detailed and in a very extensive way. So that's why, since Lord Jigiswin has seen that seen that text, the tantra, that's why he expressed that whoever, if somebody who is in a retreat or doing this text practice there with the practice of the nerves and channels, he said it's also very important to look at these medical tantras, which ascribes about the body and its functions, its nerve system, all this in a very detailed and very extensive way.
Oh yeah. 다테는 디올라 카르송가레스나 두르송 주비바데 옌지 메사바남 드르사데 소나이다와 다 옌지 메사바스는 케바신다게 메사바스단 케바스나인데 나란소놈 주선노 타와나신데 나란소 카르산노 당겨레스나 베나 소소터베 돈바세야 테당 상하게 돈바세야 니보데 카레 사반도 추르여스나 상하세야데 사반도 지기 추르여레 소소터베 돈바데 지 사반 마인 반도지 테네테나신도 베나 잠루 돈바 쉐야당 왕쉐야 니인도지나 다 잠루 돈바데 페체 마슈랑슈도 지고 남바지 차구로와 텐두산에 게 지슌도데 상하게 왕데 지기로와 자치슌도지 텐두 오말레 고마자쳐 지기로와 데나신도 테네페나 냠랭게 름반도 지기 토나선노 다와이나 텐줄 니에가와당 치와마다 버고미야 텐술레 상하게 제람당 조름당도 고미야데 개체와당 사반도 지기로와 다 당단되는 지된 송고 가르송고 텐데 마레스티 노초 송고래 나랑소 남주 사보 마레 삼대야당 나랑소기 사보 개침보 마레 삼대야 텐소테데 니버도 사보당 개침보레스 좀생 가르치는 데요서는 주라 소수터베 domba yang tabaji jule machi baina tene 장동당 나둠 줄에 제투 말레스 domba inji menji chandum da ngadum jula che gu yona tambo sosdar domba da gu yuba o tende den anshin do tene tadam di pena nyamne ge ramban ro chi da sono tama ina ya chiwa meta ba se ya tege thone ngzu ji samnan juan ro te chi tang ma to ba ina tene jerum gomba da zorum gomba la so ba tan so yang chi chana jikten ge tene chibo tang ya gi nyamne ro chi chang ro yin ka yung go ro o te yin du zane tene yendaage mezapern de batenzu nimbordu zabore pe kechimure steindu zane tene ji oma tenzu za chewa zgure sungure tonhan shuk chewa chegure sungure temado tene ji o tadande sosoterbe dombala sobatang tene tenjur niekawa gombala soba chanjuge sem gombala soba tenzulo tonhashira majewache ta sangage yedamge hla gomdu yusene hlan damandra gomdeba yina de tene chikchena 낭배기 냠네 인다면 태숨 창로다 송거래 그래서 낭배 냠네 인나 잠루던 저가지고 그러와 대체기 냠네 인나 심지던 저가지고 그러와 근데 잠루던 심지니 매서와 인나 플라금 데바테야 남바당 대체기 냠네는 줄투 말레스 오 텐데 인두자네 tensupe 개침벌에 대송벌에
The 14th verses, what is not profound for others is profound here. Here, the others is also related to us because we think that, for example, like usually what we think is like for example, the individual vows. We take individual vows inferior or lesser important than that of the compared to the Mantrayana vows. And also we take like the refuge and bodhicitta as a like kind of a lower and like for example like and for example the practice of the importance of the human life and the difficulty of getting the human life, the practice of the impermanence of life is not that important compared to that of the practice of generation stage and the completion stage. We take it as a very high, and like Chakchen and so forth, we take it so high, and we look down upon the individual vows, and we think this is like kind of a lesser, or it's like kind of a lower scope. But what Lord Jigten stated is these are very important. It's the most important one. For example, without having the individual vows, we cannot have the Bodhisattva vows and the Mantrayana vows, because the lower are the basis for the higher ones. So therefore, the most lower one is more, have to be given more important, because it's a basic, it's the base, or it's a foundation. For example, sometimes people say that, oh, bodhicitta, it's not that important. We have to go to the practice of the Mantrayana, the practice of the deity, and so forth. So this is completely misunderstood. For example, we don't practice about the refuge and the generations, the motivation, the altruistic mind, but rather you go and practice the highest point of the practice of the Tantrayana. So what Lord Jigten stated is that without having the bodhicitta or this kind of the three refuge and so forth, we couldn't have the practice of the Mantrayana. The Mantrayana practice, or the sacred Mantrayana practice, is purely based on this kind of foundation, the foundation of all these individual vows, the bodhicitta, and also the refuge for the Buddha and so forth. Therefore, it is stated that what is not profound for others is profound here. Last word.
Pero ngaran sonje ten thona sano tawaina 샤모도 한국이 지도자는 토야데 샤몬 토기도와 한국도 막이도와 이네 개데 한국 지기도와 가서 한국면은 가서 고마지는 로트면도 샤모면은 로초도 하고 자네 지제 가와는 샤모 마오는 로초도와 이나 한국 마오는 주는 로야면도 한국 배 개지모도 디나신 제네드네 지 자완다고 배 마오레 스네 사부 마임바다 개지모 마임바자야 매워와 디나신 배나 칸반로 제유나양 칸베게 다 지금 로송망 채쇼데 다 지금은 지제 더 메시지 안로 지금 로송 채쇼데 사고 올로도 칸베게 망 템포직 마차와 이나 데 칸바 도지 주니 쉬자데와 이나 고 돌란로 지르와 땡도 망들 배 템포직당 개칭보지 쩌네 나도 칸바지 쩌고도 디나신도 냠낸 라양 근데 짜와든도 개체와 쩌고레스 근데 짜와데 야부지 추송아이나 근데 대가나 야가당 로마당 되고 차상지 보숨 소바지 용도그래 송게레 티인도 자네 텐데시네 텐데네 이젠지 메자파는 들사오 소야 데레 텐테인도 자네 니콜라 테네 까담베게 라마 포도와 쉬야지로 나 콩게 가르 송바르스나 저랑드네 냠네 간르지 지기네 당분 치와 메다베 콜라 선노 야고지 땅스 치와 메다베 토네 저랑 섬능군에 주와 땅 도와지 냠네지 제도 송아이나 테네 디와 파야라야 칼레시다 요마레 gewadriala kaleme bachi chagres tendu thangbu chiwa mata bagums chiwa mata ba sanu tang chewe gi jela tene churang ya niba de kar gongurusna jamba da ningje mambugums jamba da ningje yabuji churang ge singju julo jetu songayina tene simje yeng tön chela kaleme bachi chatu gres yendön chebala kajume bachi chayung gres tene den ki tola jamba da ningje ge tola 다 동니당 드네지 자체인당 조체인당 다 가르고마야기네 드네 곰스 다 주란드네 등소 곰나야 거페 펜도 전부 요와지 차투 그레스 대마도 당보분의 동니라고 곰대바이나 대기 드네 양지 타바톨라 펜단 는 고쳐야 요 말레스 드네 인도산에 람게 짜와데 베 템보지 고레스는 송도와 다 등소단드네 드난드네 지된 송고 송바도 상마 된다 지과래
So here, for example, like if we have a hat and the shoes, if you compare with the hat and the shoes is lower compared to the hat is in the the topmost of our head, and it's very important to have a shoes rather than to have a head, because if you go somewhere without having shoes, you can't do anything. You need to have a shoes. Whether you have a head or not is a different thing. It is like, but the shoe is must. You have to need it. It is not a question of you are lower or you are higher. It is a question of what is the most necessity. So therefore, in the same way, these individual liberation, the vow and tree refuge and so forth are very important. For example, even if we are making a house, a building, the foundation is very important. Even in India, when you are making a house or building, the most of the budget goes to the foundation, because we have to make a solid foundation. If you have a very good foundation, then you can build up how many story building you like or you want to build it. Otherwise, there's danger. If the foundation is not in a stable, then there's danger. Anytime it will collapse. And also, like, for example, like kind of a tree, the root of the tree must be a very confined, very firm and very stable. And if the root of the tree is very healthy, it will bring out the healthy leaves, and also the fruits will be, it will give a very good fruits and flowers and so forth. And in the same way as, for example, one of the masters of Kadamba, known as the Potawa, what he said was, whatever you do, the first and foremost is very important to have the understanding of impermanency of the life. Because if you have impermanency of your life, then whatever you do would be meaningful, because you would not do which is not necessary. You can only go for the what is most wanted and most necessary. So after having this kind of consigns, the impermanence of life, then you go for the loving kindness and compassion. Because if you have a very good practice of loving kindness and compassion, then there's no difficulty doing the help for the other sentient beings, help and benefit for other sentient beings. If you have a very like a genuine loving kindness and compassion, and after that, then only you can go for like kind of practice of the GYALTSEN or emptiness or Mahamudra or whatever. Otherwise, if you go and practice Mahamudra or emptiness or whatever, it is not sure that you're not confirmed that you're going to do something good or bad. We never know, because you might have a like kind of end up in a mess up for the like a kind of problematic situation. So therefore, these kind of like kind of stages, the more the like kind of the lower stages are the more profound, because this behaves or it works as a basis for the higher practice. That's all.
Tene dorsong jonga pade teme zalong dambe sangmeja songdawa ta teme sangdazane tanda kondu shiwa tanzore nangbe tela tsuyage jamdo tikjenge tela tsuyage chanchuge sem sanghage tela tsuyage wang ta tangso mewa yina tene ta sachi zalong gi nyamle chudung dawo ji nyamle chedewa yina ya chuduge damba nyamle chewa yina ya tege sanjige koma tuk mara es kain tene 당보 점주단들 냠내지 구요래 산제코 모토가라 니바 tene 심지단들 냠내지 구요래 숨보 왕단들 냠내지 구요래 다 대조선 매차와 인도자네 tene 자롱게 나마지고 산제코 모토도 말에 에스테인자 대조 개침불에 송발에
So here the 15 verses, without those foundation refers to that the refuge and bodhicitta and so forth. And without that foundation, one does not attain Buddhahood through the instruction of the channels and energy. So what it means is like, without having all this kind of foundation, like individual practice, for example, the three refuge, in order to engage into the path of Buddhism, and also the bodhicitta, to engage into the like bodhisattva yana, and also the empowerment in order to engage into the mantrayana. So without having the basic foundation, just by practicing the 6 yogas of Naropas, doesn't make you a Buddhahood, doesn't take you to the Buddhahood, because you are missing something else. So therefore, the bodhicitta, the refuge, are the foundation for practice for all these kind of higher stages. So the lower stages becomes the foundation for the higher stages. So therefore, without those foundation, one does not attain Buddhahood through the instructions, through the just instructions of these channels and energies will not take you there. If you miss all the foundation of refuge and bodhicitta and so on. That's it.
tene ma dorson judu bate ka dangel we nyamnyong lo do yins tene tadandi nga lam la soba jangne nyamne tende chin nang yong du zane tene ya nyamnyong dramanda tende jeya yosare nyongwan dramanda tende jeya sam pena tandandi jejun gambo pege namtar tan sonana zigda tene gambo ba jejun mele kundu na pene danga shu gom nyamne nang yong du zane 지금 생각한다면 참참 산재다 장주 선바트에게 시행제야 참참 되네 지금 노르진창 공무준제야 근데 참참 하다 하문제야 근데다 냠용게 나와란 담을 망부 송용도와 대인도 전에 다 된대기 냠게 나와던데 제용도 되네 카시에게 가르상 그래서는 근데 나를 믹스에게 냠용지 제송 선대문에 산재 그냥 도다 줄라서 만나 송요 말에 내 냠용데 배짜 친구에 투모만이 배 냠용이 서야 된대야 주얼 레빙 그러와 근데 람케 용서게 돼 대지도 자는 지대는 송을 가르쳐 말상 초라한 게 냠용데 산재게 까단 가르에 냠용지기나 로도레스 노르차레스들이 대인도 전에 지금 냠용지 줄라 제와 있나 산재게 까단 tumbe 냠용지 제야는 배선 제고레스 근데 산지게 까든 tumbe 냠용지 줄라 제고요나 가르치고 그래서나 산지게 까든 tumbe 냠내지 제고 요러와 근데 인도 그게 도도로 그래서나 나저 냠내 간지지 제와 있나야 산지게 까든 tumba지 산지게 깔에 망게와지 근데 냠술랭고레스 근데 제와 있나 근데 까든 tumbe 냠용다 까든 tumbe 또바 줄라 제기래 송바래 대인도 냠내 제베 가서 까든 가와지 냠내 제와이나 근데 냠용 제베 가서야 까든 가와지 지기래 근데 대다 때네 달와도 당연히 지금 그것도 말해스 디치르자네 아 근데 까신도 냠술 랭고래 세대 송바래
Like 17 was your verses, 16 was your verses, sorry. Experience that contradicts the Buddha's words are misconception. So what it means here is usually when you practice the mantrayana on the path of mantrayana practice, we might have many different kind of experiences. For example, even the Gampopa, when he came to practice with the Milarepa, the Lord Gampopa, when he was doing the practice, after receiving the instructions and teachings and so forth, he might have a vision of seeing the vision of the like Buddhas and many different kind of deities and so forth. And sometimes like we feel that like we might be something different from other people because I'm having a very different kind of experience. And these kind of egos and so forth comes about. And what Lord Jidin stated is that if that is the relation, if that has a relation with what the Buddha's teaching, then it is right. If it's not related to what the Buddha stated, then whatever the experience you have might have a like the problem because it's not related with the Buddha's teachings or Buddha's like teachings. So what it means is like when you are having like kind of if you practice, which is then what is the point of having a right method or right point of how to have the right point of practice and the experience and the result? Then Lord Jitendra stated that we have to practice according to what the Buddha has stated. And if you practice according to what the Buddha has stated, then it will come according to the teachings, then it will come the result, experience according to that. And because of that experiences and practice, you will have realization, which is related to that, according to that. And because of that, then you will have a liberation, you will have liberation, and also like you will able to achieve the state of all-knowing Buddhahood. Otherwise, without having this, if your path is mistaken, then you are bound to have a mistaken experience. And if you have a mistaken experience, then you will never reach to such ultimate realization and all-knowing Buddhahood, the state of Buddhahood. That's why on the 16th, he stated that experiences that contradicts the Buddha's words are misconception. Last one.
근데 주된 바태기 공부하던 생각에 시벌 구성바 다대 송도산에 지단 산재기 다지 도당 주 근데기 송라 망부 나라 지 가르서 그래 다 주기 공부 제리시 동서 잠깐만 보자요와 대인도 전에 된대기 추 대달라 즉 지기고네 뒤지 카가요 대원로지 근데 대나신도 된다기 림베게 토네야 림바 망부 유대와한테 지금 좀 통구요와 대인도 전에 카시에 가르 삼고에서다 지금 산제기 가 탐제대 공바 tum바지 용대야 요마레 산제기 송바데 강사 소소소소로 되는 송제와 되시레 세안로 배치 산제기 가이 공바라 지 가르데와나진지 계시 산제기 송베 가당 나랑소베 냠니 제출대양 산제기 가당 가로와 이나야 개준 매반로 지던데 선호당 쓰기로와 띠인도 대란지 된 송과 가르사나 산제기 송베 추 탐제대 공바지그레 띠인도 산에 산지게 송출 간지 유나야 대응게 차네 공부 용수 줘봐든 가로메 바지 시엔토바 지브레스 난저 산지게 까탐제데 공부 가르메 임바 가두 시엔송아이나야 가두 또 송아이나 근데 저랑 원에게 다지 제바빵 초산에 초조 되지 차도 그레스 대마도 산지게 까랑 가로 예반하지 지다 산지게 까당 가로에게 되지 냠년지라 전데바 있나 되게 당문에지 탈베기 라미양 타와지라 랩토 마레 틴데인두 공부 탐진감이 심하지야 백해 전부에 송바래
One must know all the verses 17. One must know all the Buddha's viewpoints to be without contradiction. Usually, like the Sutra and Tantra, the teachings of the Buddhas are many. In time and situation, this differs, and also they altogether there are 84,000 heaps of doctrine, and these all, like some scholars, they say that these are all taught according to the different disposition of the mental status of the disciple, and it's not possible that all these the teachings of the Buddha can come to one integration, come to one kind of point of the single intention. It's not possible to have that single intention. But because these are all taught to the different mental disposition of the sentient beings, so it is different. So whereas the Lord Jigten here stated that if you have this is the misconceptions. Actually, the teachings of all the Buddha has to come into the same point and have to have the single intention. It may differ by the words or the explanation, but somehow the meaning of it, if you look deeper into the meaning, these are all actually to benefit the sentient beings and to bring all sentient beings up to such one destination, that is the Buddhahood. So whenever we come to the point of the understanding that whatever the Buddha teach, whatever the different kind of teachings he did, it has all the same essence of the same essence or the one intention of the Buddha to bring all these sentient beings to the Buddhahood or higher stages, and then up to and ultimately to the Buddhahood. Then whenever we have this kind of understanding, then that means we have understood the essence, the teachings of the Buddha. Otherwise, we're not. So therefore, the Buddha stated that, Lord Jigten stated that one must know all the Buddha's viewpoint to be without contradictions. There shouldn't be any contradictions. There's no contradiction at all, because these are all actually trying to bring the skillful ways or means to bring the sentient beings to the path of the enlightenment. Basura.
Walastani ta tege ola dorson chubje ba tege damna tarme kadron wa je sondo tan di dorson do kondan terwa yore penna kadan garwe gi nyamnyong ji jewa ina lodo yin song song tanji tene sanje gi gomba tamche den garmi ba jing do shen to gure song song ta ti chi du zane kandar sanje gi gomba telang anzo ji to tuyalam beson shu chimbo ji chigu yorwa ti chi du zane ta chobje bande gi tene anzo nyamso lembe chena tene ta nyamle kandre da ji ne tela kisel dang pondon sene ka ni yorwa 다 케이크 칸데 셀부 유미 케이크 세출 보 칸데 치는 다 폰던스도 지단 야제다야 세로 땡도 전에 덴데 탑럼 가릴 때는 폰던 지구 유미 다 튼주 거데 땡도 전에 텔라데네 카시에 가르 삼기로서나 지 케셀도 폰던 거 거데 산지게 까기나 시다 세우 요 말에 땡도 전에 데네 까지부나라 네바 요 말에 텔레 담가지 라메게 담가지라 데네 지다 년샤오네 데케치그레 세야지 소용 거래 단지 대송을 가르친 것은 지단 라메 당아 세야텔라 카니 용그레스 지 오늘 라마 챙이다 된바지 당아인 산지게 가당 가로메 당아래 야 라마 드네지 라메게 메유바 잠지 돈에 당아 담을 시에 대바이나 단소 가당 가루에게 당아드네 용시바래 디인도 전에다 가리에네메나 주랑 계획 세수로다 본 돈술 된소대 산지게 까나시지 지토바이나 드는 디바레스 티인도 전에 담가tar min 까나시 지는 디레에서 영화 세안되기 지난 디브게 된다 지로와 담가tar 지는 디 말에 까나시 지는 디바레에서 대송을
Here the 18th verses, maintains the results of the practice are not according to instruction, but arise according to the Buddha's words. And what it means here is, usually there are some scholars or we have a like experts saying that all the like important instructions are not clear in the Buddha's word. So therefore, sometimes it's very important to take an instructions from one's own guru or teacher. And here, what Lord Jigten Sumin stated is that there are two things coming up. One is the like in order to clarify the one's own obstructions, and also one is that in order to like flourish or to develop one's practice. So when these two things comes, like usually like people say that all the like instructions are not clear in the teachings of the Buddha, we have to follow the particular masters who would give us the teachings for the particular obstructions, obstacles, or whatever. So therefore, Lord Jigten Sumin stated that there are two kinds of teacher coming. One is the authentic teacher who really have like the understanding of the Buddha's teachings and which is related to the Buddha's teachings. But there are some other teachers, instructions giving, who has a not authentic practice, who don't have the authentic experience. And these kind of teachers may lead you to the problem. So therefore, it is very important to rely upon the Buddha's words. It has to be according to the Buddha's word, arise according to the Buddha's words, because we are not really sure what kind of master you're going to face or you're going to meet it. And therefore, one has to follow to the Buddha's words. That's why the Lord Jigten Sumin stated that maintains that the result of practice are not according to the instructions, but also according to the Buddha's word. Last one.
야. 네, 다들 손 줄고 봐대. 쯤에 된전 감성 그룹 주송도와 단디 간소드네 지단 곰텔라 시내 곰바다 황통 곰바스 니송용 거와 다 차챙게 갑라. 네 대인도잖에 디 시내 거네 송용 거래. 쯤에 된전 세야 송용도 지단 시내텔라 준진게 된전 지당 쯤에 된전 세는 니 송용 거래. 대인도 단다 지단 된전 세야 텔라 tene gombe kapsu jule jesruge tone sumdowa Deve Tingin Seaji. Tashine Mambu, Mambu going to Zane, Deve Tingins in Julia Chundu, Lula Tenichi, Kabla Soba Zuba in a Trodung Yung Marisundova, Tendegishine Jia Usari, Deve Tingins. Tenetena Jendo Salve Tingins in Seaji, Chundu Zane, Shineg Tingins in Yamre, the Julia Chundu Zane, Penatane, Munkong Tendela, Nakong Tendenan Yuna Yang. Tene pechi ngubo karena ko sewo nang to ya tingin de yore sungure. Tene mato pe tingin zen sundu sana ta pechi namto ragwa tamche pa ngane meba chane tene namto je meba nanjin chanro ya tende ge tingin zen tela mato pe tingin zen sana sungu do wa. Ta ti indu tende ge tingin zen sumbo tela kesi shemba chewa ina dewala chagwa chewa. Sarwe ge tingin zen zimba chewa. 다 텐데 체네지 차바당 짐발라서 제송아 이나 될 준체기 띵인진 세계 다 단다 공도 시에 띵인지 숨보 텐데라 셴바 마치와 이나 될 쩨메베 띵인진 세송거다 디인도 테네 카시에게 가르송거에서 다 텐데기 쩨메베 띵인진 숨보데 다 자자 진보 똑바랑제스 자체인 똑바서 다 될 파지 요 말에 다가랑 다 자자 친구 내로 똑바레스는데 모르는 게당 삼로 단계 텐데 여기 요사래 배는 남도 라과 탐제 방가로도 다 남도 가야매바 추구고 차상에 또 참도 삼만도 다 텐데기 그냥 셴바쟁 게 텐데 용되게 서와 대지든 지든 송어 들어송 말에 준 예배 띵인 진이나 인대인 준 매배 띵인 제 숨보 되게 양 감성근 코로와라 제와라야 그 주치기를 마도베 코로와는 타래야 그 주치 투구 말아예스 코로와는 타르구유나 상통구래 송거다 대인도산에 주미 띵인진 숨보테 제단한테 주를 찌찌기서 신의 공도 고랑신이 제용거대 냠 숨보테 이나 델라 셴바 마지는 다동 라말라 먹어당 에너지 담가당 오다 텐데기 림발라 때네 로용도산에 때는 남시게 전하는 심근 내로 다 자자 친구들 무슨 통용거 요래 때인도산에 때는 텐데기 내로 좀 통송하이나 다른 거라네야 땐도 탄로 요래 송발 대시도산에 신의 잠주를 제와이나 델라 항상야서 개요 말에 스팅 거라기 주래서 됐단 말에
Here, the 19 verses. Faultless meditative concentration is the cause of 3 realms of samsara. And what it means is when we practice about the charchen, and in terms of the practice of Charja Chimbo, the Mahamudra, and when we talk about the calm abiding, the Shine or calm abiding, in terms of calm abiding, there are the calm abiding, the concentration, which comes with the faults and which is the free of fault. And there are 3 kind of the calm abiding. One is like when we become so peace and happiness. And this is one thing. And the second is like kind of the clarity. When we have a clarity, the concentration of clarity, then even if you go into the darkness without having light, one could be able to see clearly, and this kind of thing. And like another one is like the third one is the non-conceptual meditative equipoise. So these 3 are the 3 different kinds of the calm abiding. And it is stated that if you attach to this kind of like these 3, then this is known as the fault, associated with the fault calm abiding. If it is not associated with the like attachment to these 3, or if you don't have the clinging to these 3, then this is known as the non-fault, without the fault, the calm abiding without the fault. And sometimes what the people say is, some practitioners, they say, if you have these three qualities, these three kind of become abiding, then they stated that you are like kind of, you have attained the highest stage, or you have attained the Dhammakaya, and so forth and so on. Whereas the Lord Jigten stated that these three, even if it is without default, will not help you to free yourself from this cyclical existence, unless it was associated with the practice of the Vipassana, the Hakta, and the practice of the Mahamudra in its ultimate state. Otherwise, even having like a faultless Vipassana, of course, the Vipassana, the three kind of Vipassana, the default will take you to the cyclical existence, of course, because the faultless, which is without default, can also take you to the samsaric villains, unless these were associated, these three practice, the faultless practice, which is free from default, is associated with the practice of the Vipassana or the Laktam. Then if you have a proper practice of the Laktam, then only it can lead you out of that samsaric flames. So today we stop here.
Sonamde tamche zibani tomne nibe danam pamche de jega nanche balon choba seben solen rovan rover sho lama gunkam zamwara survande chodo kuse rangwara survand chile tarjen jebra survande lama dan darwa mebra chenje lo jambe bawe chedran chemba Gundo Zambo Deyan Tejinde Teda Gunje Jizo Dalush Gewan Deda Tamje Ramdu Mo Sanje Gusum Nibe Chenlav Dan Chunyi Minjuru Dembe Chenlav Gende Mechen Debe Chenlav Je Chedra Nguje Molam Drubar Sho Dadang Gonde Tham Je Dusum Do Sabba Yube give zawan de dada simchen tamje lanam yang dabra zobe chanchu rimbo je dabra jurunje shija gunze gunchin chuje je tender nela wakum de gom temper temper shedu tu sam gambe zenjuru je chanju simcho rimbo je ma je ba nam je juru je ba nyam ba me bra yang kone gong pever shu so then tang de dra jiman jeng rola.
So now, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Khenchen Rinpoche La. Thank you so much, Khenpo Kime. Thank you, our wonderful translators, Susu, Katrin, Lama Kuncho, Victoria, Alex, Rocco. And see you next week. Enjoy your time in Ladakh, Khenchen La.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, Kenny.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our team.